We got it? Okay.
Thank you, Paul. All right, everybody, thank you for coming out. It's a pleasure to be here and ask for your endorsement. With only 5 minutes, I'd like to address some mistruths that I believe have been spread about myself and my campaign, and also share with you what I think I offer as a candidate. The idea that I support the indoctrination of our children is insane. And if that is what you have chosen to believe, then you have been misled. I do not and have not ever supported the teaching of critical race theory. This claim is based on an open letter that I participated in 2020, with the sole intention of promoting how the high school courses that I experienced, of which my opponent was not employed at the time by the district and was not in those classes, that those courses could do a better job at teaching our full U.S. history, and that is it. And frankly, if you want to talk about letters, my opponent received a letter from her principal issuing her a 3-day suspension for divulging student information. And when I think about electability in November, I find that to be a disqualification. You know, the headline, candidate for state representative suspended from her job. In my mind, that is a huge disqualification. Now, the next claim was that I support defunding the police and removing our school resource officer. As a firefighter, and as somebody who wears the uniform in service to our community, and as the only police-endorsed candidate by the Massachusetts State Police Association and the Massachusetts Correctional Officers Union, I find this ludicrous. I find it degrading to myself and to my colleagues who put their lives on the line to serve our community. I don't know if the well has already been poisoned beyond repair, but I would like to share a little story. I think most of you guys know Kevin, the guy with the overalls, who unfortunately wasn't able to make it tonight. Now, Kevin heard about the letter that I referenced in the beginning, and he took my signs down, and he said, "Andrew, I don't want an effing rhino." And I said, "Kevin, I'm not a rhino." But that didn't do enough to sway him. But what I want to show you guys is the calluses that I have on my hands. These are the calluses that I've earned from working in our Lord's great outdoors, in the hay fields from sun up to sundown, driving heavy truck, working in the construction industry, running my small business through unnecessary mandates and lockdowns. These are not the calluses of a rhino. Now, these are the calluses of someone who believes in smaller government, lower taxes, who will work for our families, who doesn't support illegal immigration, someone who knows the pains we are feeling throughout this disastrous economy. Someone who will support the Second Amendment and our parents' involvement in our children's schooling. Someone who will fight for a more transparent government, as we are ranked 47th out of 50th throughout the country in transparency. These are the calluses of someone who has the experience to work from day one representing our district and bringing resources to our area. And I know that we as a district have been forgotten about at the state level, and I'm going to go down there and fight for us. These are the calluses of someone who will support our veterans, our seniors, and act as a check to the liberal extremes of our state. So thank you, everybody. If you haven't, are we doing questions now?
Yep, 5 minutes of questions.
Happy to answer any questions.
I have a question.
Yes, John.
Do you believe we have a problem with election integrity here in the United States and everywhere in the United States?
I think we can always improve our election integrity.
No, do we have a problem, like a serious?
I think locally, focusing on our
1
district.
minute remains.
No, he gets 5 minutes.
You get 5 minutes for questions.
When I've talked with our local town clerks, you know, they feel comfortable, and I feel comfortable with their assessment of the area.
They're using machines, right?
When I talk to our town clerks, they feel comfortable. I think we can always improve our election system.
Okay, do you think we should have software between our vote and the tally?
Look, I think there's a number of ways to approach it, John.
Between our vote and the tally that cannot be audited or seen by anyone because it's proprietary to the company that made the software.
John, I hear where you're going with this. I kind of feel like you're going for a gotcha question.
It's not, it's a serious question.
Do I support software in general?
No, software for counting votes.
You need transparency in all of it. You need
Okay.
people to be able to verify it.
I'll tell you, we don't have it.
Any other questions?
Do you
Charlie.
believe in they made mail-in voting part of the regular voting thing now? Do you agree with
I
that?
don't support that, and when I talk to the town clerks, they don't support it either. It's huge additional expense for the community, and, frankly, people are not comfortable with it.
Right,
And why
there's no
should they?
transparency.
Yeah.
So why are they doing it?
I mean, that's law.
Yeah,
I mean, that's why they're doing it.
I don't know if they went through the legislature to do it, but
I'd have to go, I believe so, but I'm not.
I mean, if you just compare to the
Yeah.
last time, we had the votes, first time because of COVID, everything was because of COVID, right? They put all these mailboxes, right, in Fenway Park, right? Who was watching over all those boxes in Fenway? Because you know what? John Henry hated Trump, right? Hated Trump. And all of a sudden, he's got open arms, oh yeah, put all your mailboxes in, everybody can go, stuff as many as you want in there, when you're only supposed to put one in. So, that was total fraudulent last time.
Sure. Yeah, I don't support the mail-in. Greg?
Two questions. One,
Sure.
do you have a license to carry?
I do.
Second question, what do you know about the new illegal immigrants licenses that are coming out as far as whether they're going to have any kind of indication that they are non-citizens on them?
Well, hopefully, my opponent and I have been collecting signatures throughout the district. I heard today there were 100,000 signers in an email I got from Jeff Deal. I'm not sure, I heard we only had about, 40 or 50 certified signatures thus far, but I know it's going to be on the ballot, and I hope people vote against it so we can repeal it that way.
Gonna be on the
We
ballot?
can repeal it, it's gonna be on the ballot, yeah. I saw that, vote no on that. Yep.
How many
I heard at least
signatures did you collect?
66,000.
How many signatures did I collect?
100,000.
I handed out a lot of signature sheets to a number of supporters. I told them to go get as many as they could and bring them to the town clerk. So,
Okay,
we collected at least a few hundred.
all right.
Barbara?
Do you think that boys should play in girls' sports?
No. Sarah?
Do you think that schools or the local board of health should have be able to mandate masks or vaccine requirements as a percentage of the school population?
I don't support the mandates or the mask mandates or the vaccine mandates.
No matter what the field is, whether it's in the hospital or colleges or...
I think for the colleges and for the schools, I see them, getting public funding, an extension of
Exactly.
the state. For the businesses, I kind of see them off on their own if that's what they choose to do. I think the public has the ability to choose whether to continue supporting their business or not.
Okay, so I jumped in on her question, sorry.
That's okay, go for it.
Because a lot of these problems that, where people can't, everyone's complaining, they don't have help, they don't have help, they don't have help. Part of the problem is they're not hiring back the people that they fired
Sure.
in the first place for the vaccines. And I'm in that position, I'm trying to get in, whether it's the school or the hospital or the post office, and either I'm being ignored or declined, whether because I'm not a Democrat or I'm not vaccinated. They don't ask. I know there's a way that they can find out. So how do you what is your take on that, and how do you stop that? Because I feel like we're the one that are being discriminated against, because I don't need it. We've already had it, I'm young, I'm 50,
Sure,
I
sure.
don't need it, so.
Jen, I met a lot of people in similar situations out on the campaign trail that have lost their job because of the mandates. And I think, I'm not sure if you're all familiar with, hopefully our future governor, Jeff Deal, his promise to, fire everyone who thought this was a good idea and hire back everyone who's lost their jobs. I would want to support that as best I could as a legislator.
Yeah, and can I just add one more thing to
Sure.
that? You said you had an open letter regarding the CRT, that you were against it. Where can you find that open letter that states that you were against it?
We can talk after, I'd be happy to send it to you.
Afterwards? Okay, thank you.
Well, it's more nuanced than the remaining 1 minute.
That's time.
We can talk after.
Thank you, Andrew.
Sure.
Thank you, Andrew.
Come on up, Lynn. Jamie, 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Got it.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, everyone. My name is Lynne Archambault. And if I want to just describe a little bit about me and then go into what I feel are the differences between Andrew and myself. I'm a teacher at North Middlesex Regional High School. I've been a realtor in Groton and Pepperell for over 20 years. I started my own business in Groton Arch Fitness, which is now in Pepperell at a bigger facility, about 12 years ago. And I'm currently serving my 3rd term on the Recreation Commission in town. Let's talk about some of the differences between me and Andrew so that you can make educated decisions. There's an age difference between us, but nothing replaces life experience. I grew up in Pepperell, where many generations of my family are from. I attended North Middlesex Regional High School. I graduated 2nd in my class. I was president of my class, president of the National Honor Society, went on to college, graduated summa cum laude from UMass Lowell, went on and into the business world in sales. Then I took some time off and raised my 3 kids. I was a stay-at-home mom where I taught them religious ed for over 10 years. Life experiences. I've had 3 homes in our district. I've owned a home. I know what it's like to pay a mortgage. I know what it's like to pay property taxes. I know what it's like to raise a family. And let's get on to critical race theory. This is one of the reasons I stepped up to run in our district. I'm a teacher at the school. I have seen firsthand that this is being taught. We had training on it last year. I had to sit through and hear about how white kids should feel guilty for being white, etc., etc. You all know the deal. There was an open letter demanding critical race theory, and I have the letter if you'd like to see it, be taught in our school and trained. Andrew signed that letter.
I know this is probably too much for you to talk to, but I just want to make sure I understood you correctly. Did you say that like your job is in jeopardy because you mentioned mental health and COVID related?
So when I don't know if my job's in jeopardy, but it kind of is. They're basically, because I'm one minute, because I'm a Republican and I'm in a district, most teachers, most school districts, most teachers unions, they're liberal. So they don't want me running. And, you know, it's tough. I have to stand against it. It's tough. But I'm doing it because I believe in this. I'm passionate about it.
Will you stay a teacher if you win this?
No. It needs to be a full-time job.
Yep.
Yes.
It seems to me that the civil rights issue of the day is education, particular education for blacks. Do you support school choice? And are you making this a real issue?
I do support school choice. I believe that school choice will give others opportunities they wouldn't have, and it will also make our public schools more competitive of an environment. Therefore, I believe it will bring up everybody's educational, level and time up. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Lynn.